Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Welcome, guys. This is our second day back post our long Thanksgiving hiatus, but as always, there is nothing short of things to discuss in markets. I know we had a MOG Coinbase listing. We're seeing a lot of lower time frame volatility on majors. There are a lot of altcoin narratives that seem to be absolutely popping off at any given time. And rest assured, we are going to cover all of them for you, today and throughout the week, guys. As we begin December, it is we are a few days into our new monthly candle. We know how that tends to work when you get a little bit of volatility around monthly opens, and I'm sure we'll discuss that as well. But I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max, Louis Tuesday, and of course Unbothered Chef Jackus. Welcome, guys, to you as well. Before we can start cooking, before we can start sharing all that big juicy alpha, and of course, before we can start, really just my altcoin watch list is kind of just ripe with narratives right now of things going on within the crypto ecosystem. You know what I'm going to ask you? I would be so appreciative if you guys can smash that like button for us. We are so happy to be back, obviously after last week. But if you could hit that like button for us, you help us keep the lights on. You help the YouTube algorithm gods, whatever we want to refer to them as, you help them continue to boost our channel going forward. And for that, we will be very appreciative. Please don't make me look at soybeans. I'd love to talk about altcoins all day. I'd love to talk about, as the title shows, a bunch of ETH today, because I do think we are very, very close to that inflection point of ETH finally starting to break out. And that was something that Jackus and I mentioned yesterday, right? But yeah, looking across the markets, guys, I mean, we did have a bit of, it doesn't really feel like it when you zoom out, right? But when you're moving from Asia session into New York session, you're getting kind of these like somewhat extreme lower time frame moves, or at the very least, we would have considered them extreme maybe when we were trading within the range 2 months ago, right? Like 3 or 4K Bitcoin candles. Altcoins are, cooperating very much in line with that volatility, and ETH is no exception to that. But I do think, just given where ETH is trading, you are running out of room for downside. I think that was the quote that Jackus used this morning on the morning call. I don't want to misquote him, but I tend to agree. And I think a lot of these altcoins that are showing strength are really reflecting that narrative as well. I know people are very hesitant given what is pumping, right? We have dinos like XRP. I mean, really everything from 2017 to 2018 seems to have pumped over the last few days, even if you were chasing into it. But what I will say, in relation to that, is that derivatives on things like Bitcoin and ETH, although the rest of the market might appear a little bit frothy, is not historically frothy on things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and of course, major assets within crypto. And so for that reason, I do think that we can maybe get a little bit crazier as long as, spot's not selling. I don't see any reason why this market cannot continue to get frothier in those markets specifically. And we see that dispersion throughout the market really continue, right? I mean, people are chasing these floored charts. Like I said, I mean, there are narratives all across the crypto market right now that seem to be attracting attention. And most importantly, guys, liquidity. And we're going to hopefully talk about all of those today. But I'd love to open up the floor, guys. How are we doing, and what are we seeing in the markets?
It's ETH time. That's what Tommy said this morning. So if he's saying it, I'm saying it. It's time to send me
us, Louis.
Yeah. Be careful what you say to me, Tommy.
I love it. I love it. I do think it's time, man. I mean, we have all these dino coins pumping. What is the original dino coin, if not ETH?
ETH's like the daddy dino, right? If anything. But yeah, I mean, I like where ETH is at. Higher time frame. We're basically at a descending resistance here. And
Did we lose Louis?
What happened? Are we good?
I think we lost you for a second.
Can you hear me? Oh,
Earth
crap.
to Louis.
Yeah.
We got you.
Yeah, we're good. All right, we're good. Okay. Yeah. So, ETH, I don't know what you guys heard, but obviously this, this macro type range we have going on basically all the way back to 2021. So about a multi-year range, 4 to 5 year range going on. I would consider the 2021 all-time high as a deviation. Pretty big deviation, but deviation of range lows during the bear market, back inside range highs, range lows, and now we're going back for range highs. In my opinion, you have on this trend line, right? 1, 2, 3 taps. And if you know anything about trend lines, the more times it gets tapped, the more likely it is bound to break, right? So we are coming into that 4th tap on ETH as we speak. Obviously, lower time frame, we're seeing some resistance. That's completely normal. After pretty much coming from range lows to range highs. But whether it's today or this week or next week, or we do something like this, or just spring out of here and go, this looks like it's primed to break this multi-year long trend, and head back to range highs and break range highs, right? It could look something like this, and then there you go. And this is a multi-year type range consolidation, whatever you want to call it, and that would imply that the move we get coming out of here will be a big move for ETH. So I really like where we're at. So I would have to agree with Tommy that ETH time is very soon, in my opinion. So.
And that trend line. What do we say about 4th taps at resistance?
Yeah, love me a 4th tap.
I think we're picking up a little bit of background. Almost seems like a vibration, but I'm not sure.
A vibration?
Do you hear it?
No.
Maybe I'm just going crazy. Jeff, what do you think about ETH here?
Yeah, I hear some noises at the background too. It's not just you, Tommy. It's like some drums or something. ETH is amazing, Tommy. ETH is looking really good, and it's really a matter of timing, So I am exactly as my profile picture says, unbothered, moisturized, happy, and flourishing, and I just let the charts play out, and then I enjoy the fruits of the pump, and then I rotate and enjoy the next one. This is what it is.
The enjoyer.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I may have had my mic turned up way too loud and I was typing. So that may have been me. What's going on here? I'm talking to my monitor. No one's talking back. Thank you, Jim.
Hello.
No, we were talking about ETH, the Russian coin. It looks primed. It looks ready to break out. Obviously, we've had some pretty major moves at Bitcoin dominance off the local highs. You've gotten some major moves off of altcoins, not just dinos, but I think some other layer ones, other VC utility coins. They're trading. I look at something like FTM, where it's trading very structurally similar to where Doge was trading. And when it traded near those highs, right, the highs that it set earlier in this year, it blasted right through them. So I think a lot of these coins, at least the stronger assets, are probably in a position to do the same. And you'd have to think that's a pretty favorable context for, or generally speaking, for Ethereum.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and Tommy, I don't know how much you subscribe to the belief of seasonality mattering in crypto, but I'm a seasonality respector. It seems to matter a lot, and we know that typically December through May is ETH dominated, typically. and you look at the ETH USD pair that Louis has up right now, and you add in some additional confluence, ETH BTC or ETH dominance or Bitcoin dominance, and it's hard not to imagine that ETH will probably produce a pretty hated rally. The magnitude of it, I don't know exactly. I think that people are viewing 10K as like, oh, we're gonna 10K is a lot. You know, we're gonna I don't know about 10K. That's kind of moon boyish. I would be very disappointed if ETH didn't get to 10K. I mean, I would view that as serious underperformance relative to what I would expect out of something like Ethereum with the backdrop that we have. So, you know, I mean, this is the setup, right? Like this is what we've been waiting for right here. Now it's time to just sit on our hands and try to stay calm.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know if it's going to happen today or tomorrow, or they make us wait till January 1st. I don't think it really matters too much. You know, I think if you're just holding spot and positioning, you know, for, let's just say, hey, I'm looking to buy now and position sometime in, you know, or unwind my position sometime middle of next year. I think ETH is going to stop being a meme here pretty soon, you know? And I mean, a prime example is like what we just saw with XRP. XRP is like the king of being a meme and being made fun of, right? And it produced an unbelievable hated rally. And I'm not saying that ETH's move out of this little compression is going to be like the one that XRP just had. Probably not, right? XRP was much more suppressed than Ethereum. It had a lot more catching up to do, ranging for longer, smaller market cap, la-di-da-di-da. But the essence, the spirit of that hated rally is what we're looking to capture on Ethereum. And I think people are positioned in ETH, but not like they should be, right? Because there's a hot ball of money right now. Like a lot of different things are popping off. Everybody's kind of moving around, you know, buying different things, whatever. I think ETH is going to produce a pretty epic hated rally. And I hope it starts kind of second half of December. It's possible they make us wait till January, which is okay. But there's going to be there's going to be a monthly candle. There's going to be a monthly window, in my view, where ETH probably doubles or more in 30 days. And I don't know if that comes from here or if we mark up to 4K and then double, you know, in like February or something like that. But it's hard to be bearish this setup right here. It is.
No, bears have lost the case like completely, and now it's really a formality before it starts breaking higher. And I think it's going to be. I'm not sure if it's going to be as hated as the XRP rally, because like there is lots of other stuff that's pumping as well. And I find it the most cringe, by the way, that people are just like not joyful that crypto is pumping. They are actually like trying to,
it's crazy,
turn down other people and be like, oh, you're only 5x, you know, here, and you know, it's not much, and like, yeah, you've definitely been holding for the past 7 years. And there is like lots of other dino coins pumping, but everyone is just pointing to XRP. Like nobody goes and is like, yeah, enjoy your, you know, stellar 6 to 7x pump, or like enjoy your Cardano being 3x up. Nobody talks about it. Everyone's just focused on hating. Like people love to hate, which
They
is
love to hate,
incredible.
bro.
So I'm not sure if, and by the way, do you know what they say, right? Your like the hater that comes in more than once isn't a hater. He's actually a pathological hater, which means lover. Like he actually loves you. That's why he's coming back. Like there is a study on that, by the way. So I'm not sure if ETH is going to be as hated rally as XRP, but I think it's going to be pretty hated because everyone started to hate on ETH as well during you know, the past, I would say like 6 months, really. Like the past 6 months, everyone really bashed on ETH, which is kind of, I actually do not think it's going to be as hated due to the fact that there is lots of ETH beta coins that are associated with it. And I think lots of people will actually benefit from it. Well, obviously, because once ETH starts pumping, our Pepe and Boys Club coins will just pump with it so much So I think the ETH won't be hated as much by the community as it will be by the Bitcoin maxis. Like the same way people in the crypto are obsessed with XRP right now, the same way Bitcoin maxis are obsessed with ETH for some reason. Like I do not know who like made it that way, who made it like religion, but it's how it is.
Yeah, it feels almost like the same people who are hating on the XRP rally right now were hating on the meme coin rallies early in the season. I think they're just missing all of it. And they'll probably miss the ETH rally too, because it's just become so normalized to hate on ETH. And that's funny coming from me, I know. But I do think it's probably skewed way too heavily towards the side of skepticism when you have things like Bitcoin obviously way above its previous range highs and all-time highs. And you have other altcoins that are actively breaking their highs from early in the year. And they look ready to rip. Like I said, I compared coins like FTM structurally to Doge. When they traded into the previous year's highs, they did not consolidate there. They blasted right through them. And so I kind of think, given that context for some of these altcoins, what does that mean for ETH, which is now, when you look at the structure of it, trading into the last bit of supply that only exists because of the whole ETH ETF announcement, right? We're basically trading into the level where people long the Pico top, hoping for a breakout. Now we're just chewing through that supply before we finally get
alert.
I always get the fantasy football alerts on stream. It's but yeah, and I think as well, it's not just Dino coins that are showing strength, it's these DeFi assets. And that doesn't mean that I want to go longing these things like Aave or Curve or Uniswap or synthetics. No offense, Louis.
More for me.
But I've talked before about how important it is that these lending protocols and these assets that are generating like usage and fees that accrue value to ETH are pumping. And we've seen that before. ETH Bitcoin always appreciates the most when these DeFi assets are, being utilized and people are lending against their ETH, right? On-chain leverage is more important than exchange leverage to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, it really, when you think about it, it makes sense. The past 6 months, 7 months, as when Bitcoin's been consolidating, we've had obviously memes pop off, right? A lot. And it's basically been the only thing that's been popping off. However, if you were to think about it just objectively, right? You had Bitcoin break out from a multi-month range, hit about a 50% move. You'd think, I guess objectively, you would think ETH would be running next. I mean, ETH has gone up. ETH hasn't not gone up. It just hasn't had that true breakout yet, right? I mean, let's look at it on the daily. But the fact that Dino coins, like let's say XRP, ADA, FTM, HBAR, like the fact that these are all pumping now is a healthy sign, in my opinion, because you have that trickle down effect coming from Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a big run up. People take profits and then they go down the risk curve. Okay, what's next on the risk curve? Okay, ETH. Yeah, ETH has gone up. ETH hasn't had that full breakout yet. I'm pretty sure we're all in alignment here on the panel that that's coming pretty much within the next couple weeks, if not the next month. But you're getting the next biggest assets in crypto are these high to mid cap altcoins from last cycle, right? Your XRP, your XLM, your HBAR, all these are starting to pump. And then, once these run, right, then you'll see a rotation out of those profits, and then you'll go farther down the risk curve, whether it's newer utility tokens or meme coins again, or gaming, or whatever other niche you wanna make up. That's kind of how a healthy crypto bull run should go. It should be moving down the risk curve. It shouldn't jump from Bitcoin all the way down the risk curve to memes. It should be a nice, healthy, kind of like the stock market's done, right? First the S&P moves, then the NASDAQ, then, low cap stocks are finally starting to break out, then crypto. And it's kind of that example, but within our own crypto ecosystem. And you see people get riskier and riskier as time goes on because you're playing with more and more money. It's kind of that wealth effect that Tommy has talked about. So in reality, objectively, it makes sense right now for these quote unquote dino coins to be running right now. The next safest bet to invest in at this point in time, if you're taking profits from Bitcoins, or if it's not people, it's the algos doing it. And I think it's a combination of both.
The crypto Twitter mind can't comprehend what you just said, Louis.
I know.
And they think about, like, why aren't these people are buying what? Who's buying what? People are upset that normies didn't come in and bid their like extremely obscure Solana meme coin. Is basically like what they're communicating to you. And I feel like they're missing the forest through the trees. It is the wealth effect. And for the first time this cycle, we are seeing true normie volume on Coinbase and places like Upbit.
Yeah.
So it's this paradigm is shifting. And I think people are way too focused on the fact that their coin hasn't caught a bid yet, or because, meme coins, let's be honest, they haven't really run over the past week and a half. They've kind of stolen the thunder, or they've had their thunder stolen by dino coins, which is definitely frustrating, I'm sure, to witness if you're a holder. But again, look at the forest through the trees. What happened to Coinbase today? What did they list? What asset is pumping that's directly related to MOG, which, like I said, did just get a Coinbase listing? Popcat's up 15%. You're starting to see some real traction within memes, and eventually retail is going to come over and bid meme coins. It happens every single cycle.
Yeah, and meme coins usually pump at the end of the cycle, but they always do. We'll see if it's end of the cycle. Yeah, like they usually produce the last leg, right? When the risk starts going. We saw that even in March last year. So I do not know if it's going to be the same or not. It's been that way in the past, but that can change. And I always advise people to be exposed to all of these sectors, because you essentially do not know, even though we do have some probability, but the sample size is not that too big. But as you said, right, that's what you want to see, like that Coinbase inflow of normies. That's what you want to see. Up until now, it was just PvP. There was always something that caught the attention. People jumped over it, then dumped onto the latecomers, and then they moved and pumped something else, and it repeated. Whereas now it's actually new entrants, and that's what we need for this space to go to double digits market capitalization. And then it's really going to be where the tide lifts all the boats, and we can just speculate what is going to be first or not. But we have just entered the most amazing times. And as you said, people still are very salty for some reason. I suppose it's the long bear market, but I'm just excited and happy for everyone making good gains currently.
Respect the pump. We said it numerous times today. It does not hurt the bags that other people are getting rich. It does not.
No, it does not. The stuff I've seen when I woke up this morning, I had to screenshot a couple bozos and just tweet their tweets. It's just crazy. It's not natural price action. Clearly a pump and dump. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, what are you talking? Just because you and these people have hundreds of thousands of followers.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Oh, well, yeah, just go to my tweet. Yeah, it's crazy. And it just because they just didn't like it, they told their followers not to buy it. Then it pumps, and they gotta continue to dig their grave deeper, because they'll look stupid instead of just saying I was wrong. People can't say that. They got ego problems. Like,
which
just
is
say
the
you're
reason
wrong. My bad.
Yeah. Which is the reason why I still suspect it goes way higher.
I agree. When I saw that, I was like, all right, if people are calling, so many people are calling top, so many big accounts. Oh, I'm taking a multi-million-dollar short on XAP here. I was like, yeah, we're probably going to go a little higher.
Dude, I saw some guy, I don't know if it was real or not. He was like, opened a $5 million XRP short.
He's a LARP. He's
Is
a
he?
LARP.
Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't know who he was. I saw the tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, bro, why? Like, that shit can't be real. Like, why would you step in front of a freight train? Like, with that kind of money? I'm like, well, you don't know. There was no like technical level up there. Like, I mean, you could maybe just be like, yeah, it's not going to make an all-time high before a pullback. Like, I get that, but I'm like, people ego short, man. Like they literally
Yeah.
ego short. They just like they want to just like show everyone how big it is and just be I'm just short, man. Look how tough I am. But
How big
nah,
is
put
it?
that
That's
shit
true.
away. Put that shit back in your pants. No one wants to see that.
They've been doing that for BTC before it moved to new highs all the time.
I remember all with like Jackus, I remember like right after the ETF pump, the amount of people that started shorting, once we
Yeah.
started ramping back up, it was ego shorting, man. It was
That's
just I'm smarter and tougher and richer than the market, I'm gonna show
Yeah.
the
I love
market
that.
what's up.
I
It's
love
just
the
silly.
term. I love the term ego shorting.
Yeah. You owe me 10 cents if you say that. That's official. I just started that. So
I will start using
and I
it.
heard you this
I
morning
just
too.
I
I
just
heard you on
officially
the call.
stole it from you. Ego
You said
shorting.
mega demand on the call this morning, and I don't know if maybe you don't think that I heard you, but I did. So
But
that's 20
you
cents.
probably didn't hear me because I said mega demand and I owe max 10 cents after. And you
I
didn't
heard
hear
that. I
that.
just wanted to make sure that you
Okay.
remembered. Okay. Yeah. Louis, what's that
Yeah,
1.618 doing?
It's gonna get tagged.
Yeah.
So this is a Pepe log chart. Kind of, if you exclude these little deviations here, which is totally fine, on these structures, but basically a massive kind of widening type channel we have here. And with time, and a pump, we could be, the top of the channel and the 1618 on log are kind of matching up to January, February of next year, February, March. Like, could that be the local top for Pepe after its initial pump? Yeah, I think so. So seeing where these lines match up with the 1618, this could give us a good time horizon of when we can expect maybe our first local top. But that would give us a solid 4.5x from here, 5x on Pepe. So I really like the way this is shaping up. We pumped, made fresh all-time highs, and now we're kind of just flagging right, on top of previous support. And normally in bullish conditions, that's bullish, right? You kind of catch late longers catching the move up here because they see something going up, they buy it instead of buying it down here and being patient. They get shaken out and bored because price doesn't move immediately after they buy. You get one more bear trap or whatever. Look like it's going to come back inside below the old lows, and then you get a massive pump to the upside. So Pepe looks to be shaping up something like that, in my opinion, if it doesn't just go from here, right? I think Pepe, because we just talked about ETH earlier in the show, that it looks like it's time for ETH soon, right? Just seeing what we're seeing in the market, seeing all the other older coins start to pop off. ETH should be next. And ipso facto, Pepe and Andy and Boys Club should pump along with that as ETH beta. So I really like how this is shaping up. And sometimes you just got to zoom out. You just got to zoom out and be patient. Sit on your hands. So that's what I'm doing. I'm still stacking up here. I was buying, believe it or not, Pepe. I know I didn't have a following back then, but Max followed me, and I was buying down here, right?
I was Louis' only follower.
Yeah, I was literally
It was
Max
just
is one
me
of
and
my
Louis.
only followers. And literally been rode this all the way up. I'm already up 10, 12x on the position, and I'm still adding up here, right? And it's a good example of adding to your winners. But that's how much conviction I have on a play that's like Pepe, and I know Max and everyone else up here has that same conviction. So this is what I'm looking at. It's another way, another chart, another view, but just putting things in perspective and and zoomed out. So
Louis, you know what I have a problem with, man? Is that people, just because Dino coins are now rallying hard, they somehow think that it's like some profound like thesis that they've come up with that now meme coins won't pump because Dino coins are pumping. Where I would personally say it's the opposite, where meme coins will eventually pump harder because their L1s or Dino coins will create an on-chain wealth effect that we didn't have previously. So I'm like, I don't understand. I don't know if you care to comment on that. I think it's quite silly, honestly. I think it's really silly to suggest that these memes are like done just because XRP and Litecoin and ADA have woken up,
Yeah,
It's
no,
very silly to me.
yeah, no, I think it's a joke. And the fact that those coins haven't been moving and memes have been having a party for the past year, pretty much. So, like, what about all that? Like, but no, I think that's silly. And obviously, all this means that there's more money sloshing around in the ecosystem, and meme coins will get bid. They definitely will. But like I say to Discord all the time, we all talk about it, but like people chase to where the price action is happening. Like they go to where the puck is, not where the puck is going. You kind of have to be able to front run these moves, and sometimes that requires patience. So, yeah, I mean, if you told people a month and a half ago you're buying utility tokens, people would have laughed in your face. But all you had to do, all you had to do was wait a month, and now utility tokens are the talk of the town. So you kind of got to front run these moves and expect and kind of forecast where the puck is going, because if you're not in front of these moves, you're behind and you're chasing. So and this market moves quick. It's a super 24/7, 365 nonstop, fast moving asset class, and I don't know why I do this.
Yeah,
other than the sweet gains, of course.
some days are easier than others, Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Guys,
What's
do
up?
you know what's happening to Pepe right now? I figured it out. Like people are asking why it's not moving, why it's not pumping. Well, it's just waiting for ETH to break 4K. Like it pumped, it's onboarding normies, market makers holding it down. They're waiting for the trigger. ETH breaks 4K, Pepe flies.
Hang on. Something's not adding up, Jackus. Because I've been told
Here it comes.
that zero is on the horizon and that this is the top. But now you're here telling me that actually this is not the top. Something is not adding up. The information is conflicting.
Lots of zeros will be adding up behind the numbers.
We will be losing some zeros, that's for sure.
And we will be losing some zeros in front. You'll see the zeros on the left, on the left move to the right.
There's a lot of salty people in the comments today, man.
Yeah, I know.
I think it was because we had a little XRP sabbatical yesterday.
We did. We talked about Dino coins a lot yesterday,
and it just really rubbed people the wrong way.
It's sad to see, but I hope that their lives goes well because they must be suffering. So I hope that everything goes. I truly mean it. Like I wish the best for them, and that they do well because they are truly hurting. It seems like.
But here's the thing, man. Like you shouldn't be mad that like XRP is pumping and you're not in it. That tells me that you don't understand how these rotations typically take form, right? Like there's a time and a place for everything to pump. Like when we've talked about this concept of like the rising tide lifts all ships, we're entering that stage of the market. That doesn't mean that it lifts them all at one time, but Bitcoin will pump. I mean, Bitcoin pumped and ETH did nothing, right? And how about all the times that Pepe pumped and XRP did nothing, right? And now Pepe's doing nothing and XRP's pumping. Like the only way you're going to lose in a bull market in crypto is one, if you're holding absolute worthless speculative garbage. I mean, stuff that there's no narrative. It's just, there's nothing there. You're going to lose. Maybe you get lucky, but you're going to lose. Or two, this is the point I want to hammer home, is over rotating. Like if you're in Pepe right now and you're like, okay, Pepe is moving sideways and it seems dead, and some shitfluencer told me that it's dead. I'm going to sell my Pepe here and buy XRP because XRP is up 450% in a week, right? Then what probably happens is XRP puts in a local top and then Pepe rips 300%, right? And I don't know if that will actually happen, right? But hopefully you understand the point. Everything has a time to pump, and there is going to be sort of, it's like a crescendo sort of later in the cycle where eventually everything will pump. It's not going to be like one thing and then the next thing. Everything will pump at the same time. But until we get like ETH into price discovery and ETH BTC rallying and Bitcoin like really ripping above 100K, you kind of have the hot ball of money effect. But you can't over rotate, guys. Like, don't go chasing the thing that's deep green. It's so dangerous. Like, you will likely win by just holding your, like, the stuff. If you guys tune into this show regularly, you're most likely holding a lot of memes, and you're holding memes that like have solid narratives, right? They're not garbage speculative, like on their own, whatever type of memes. They're part of a larger narrative. There's a cycle thesis around them. They're going to do well. Okay. Additionally, you probably have a lot of exposure to like, just ETH or maybe even XRP, because Jackus and Louis have been all over that one, right? You guys all own some solid stuff if you've been tuning into this show for 6 to 9 months, getting positioned for this. Don't go over rotating. Just wait. Okay. Just wait. Like, you need ETH over 4K. You need Bitcoin over 100K. You're going to get both most likely very, very soon. And then everything is going to rip, right? And everything is going to rip and you're going to be fine. But like, I see a lot of people just like, I mean, dude, Pepe was up like 50% 3 weeks ago. Like it had a 50% day 3 weeks ago. And everyone's like, oh, Pepe's dead. It's not moving. I'm like, it's been chilling for like a few weeks. It marked up 50% in a day. I mean, it's like people have squirrel brains and they forget like how recently something just happened. It's not like Pepe's still sitting down at like, 3 billion market cap and can't get off the damn floor. The thing just led the altcoin pump. Like Pepe pumped and then others' dominance went up after, right? Sit on your hands and just be patient. Patience is going to win this cycle. I'm telling you. Patience is going to win. Over rotating is going to get you slaughtered. It always does.
Yeah.
On the topic of Pepe and ETH beta, Max, I'd love to know your opinion on how you think MOG is expected to trade, because I know that we talk about Pepe and the boys club all the time, but MOG just got a Coinbase listing, and I kind of view it not quite in the boys club basket, but in the Pepe beta basket. And so I almost feel like maybe MOG isn't going to be ripping face before Pepe does. But in the same way, it will trade very similarly to things like Wolf and Andy.
Yeah, there's a really strong pair chart for MOG. Like MOG Pepe has been a really, really good signal. And I've used it, even though I don't personally own MOG, like our fund does, but I don't personally own MOG. But I'm super bullish on MOG, and I've used the MOG Pepe pair chart as some pretty good signal for like when Pepe beta will run. And MOG is not like directly Pepe beta, right? Like at its core, MOG is ETH beta. So like if you get ETH season here, you're going to get MOG season, just like you're going to get Pepe season, just like you're going to get Boys Club season. Like that's real, okay? So charting something like MOG against Pepe has been tremendous signal to recognize like, hey, when are the smaller, strong ETH memes going to do well? I don't know, like, I mean, look, MOG got a Coinbase listing. I think MOG's a great meme. I think the community's great. I think it's got great virality. I don't know what to make of the wick that's on the MOG chart right now. It's a little, I mean, Pepe held it and MOG didn't really hold it. But that could just be some guy on chain just decided to sell his big bag or whatever, who knows? But it's hard for me to be bearish on MOG. Like I don't think there's a reason. I think it's just a patience thing. Like you just have to be a little bit patient with it, and it's probably going to rip. It's probably going to go into the deca billions without a problem, right? I think it's in that top category of memes. It's just, again, it's a patience thing. It's like if you saw the Coinbase listing and you just aped in this morning, like as soon as it hit and it was already up 35%, and then it sold off. Now you're sitting there like, oh man, I'm down so much already. And like that's on a lower time frame, that's what I'm talking about, where it's like it's the monkey neuron activation. It's like you see the green candle and you're just like, I must buy that. Ooh, and it's like the opposite. Now that MOG sold off after such a strong catalyst, now is when you want to be looking to like, okay, let's see where the bottom is locally. That was a big sell-off. It's clearly going to pump more, waiting for ETH, solid catalyst. Like now is when you want to prospect, where do I carve out this bottom? Where do I start shoving? So I don't know. I'm super bullish MOG. I never got like a great entry on it, which is why I never bought it. But I can't be bearish MOG. I don't know. How do you feel about all that, Tommy?
No, I agree. I mean, I feel like it will inevitably trade with Pepe, but the only thing with MOG is it trades like such a pain in the butt. So I do think it's one of those situations where, I mean, they might not say it, but supply could be pretty concentrated, and that could be suppressing price a little bit. I will say something interesting about MOG that I've always just kind of paid attention to anecdotally is that my favorite exchange, Hyperliquid, will not list it. And the reasoning that they give is that the volumes are not good. And you look across the chain, it's really not nearly as good as the volumes on some of these other meme coins that they've listed, which, they've listed some smaller meme coins than MOG. So I do think that MOG might have some centralization issues that it has to maybe beat, or centralization allegations per se. But when it does go, I mean, that chart just looks like what Jackus was showing us yesterday, where it's like, you're kind of trading in value for a very long period of time until inevitably you break above value and you start trending in a very aggressive fashion. That's probably what MOG will do.
This chart is ugly.
Yes, it is.
It's ugly, but I don't know. Like, I don't hate it though. That's the thing. Like, I actually watch it pretty closely. You can kind of figure out how it trades, honestly. If you watch it enough, you can pick up the little patterns that happen lower time frame and higher time frame. I'm not even spooked by that wick. And again, I'm an uninvested, like unbiased third party. I have no position in MOG. I don't care what happens. I feel like that wick is really more of a result of like they just got Binance perps. It was like a month ago maybe. And it has been suppressing price largely. It kind of ramped into the anticipation and then it just chilled out. Like that thing got hammered down on perps right now, I'm sure. So I'm not really concerned about that wick. Like if anything, like we'll kind of base out here and just keep ranging. Like you could pretend like that wick doesn't even exist and just try to buy the range low and just wait for ETH to get above 4K and just ignore that wick. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you could even draw like a little diagonal line across the highs there, Louis. Yeah. Pretend like that wick straight up doesn't exist. Well, that's a horizontal line, but basically, yeah.
I forgot my case.
No, that's good. That's good.
We'll probably fill the wick at least. I mean, that's destiny, but I think this is a good question though. What do we think about Brett versus MOG?
Well, I mean, I think that the narrative around Brett is solid. Like, I don't think there's a better like meme coin narrative than the Boys Club this cycle. Largely due to what Pepe is going to do, right? Like, if Pepe wasn't going to go to 50 or 100 billion, which is my target, then the Boys Club narrative wouldn't be that strong. But it's like whether you like Brett, Andy, and Wolf or not, there is an attachment to Pepe. And if Pepe goes up, to 100 billion or something like that this cycle, it's going to be hard to beat that narrative, right? The attachment to Pepe, the direct attachment to Pepe. So in that sense, I'm very biased with something like Brett. I'm very biased with something like Brett because of that narrative. But that doesn't mean that MOG is not up there, right? Like it's hard because they're just so different. It's it's so different. Mog is kind of the first of its kind. It's like I don't know what they call it, like a culture coin or whatever, where it has like the virality of like the glasses and the profile pictures. Like it's infinitely memeable, which is really cool. It's badass. But I think that Brett may have a leg up on it simply because of what Pepe does and that direct attachment. That's my own personal thought.
I think you're right. I think that Mog trades not necessarily correlated to Pepe in the same way that Brett does, but it trades as if the same holder base of Pepe holds a lot of Mog, almost like the the centralized holders of Mog probably got rich off of Pepe and continue to get rich off of Pepe, and then put the profits back into Mog token. That's my guess.
Brett chart's just so much cleaner. This is clean. And this is like where I would say like Andy is right now, right? Just consolidating right under, your old all-time high. And then bang. Like I say this all the time in the Discord, like consolidation under resistance in a bull market is super bullish. It's super bullish because pretty much if there's a bunch of liquidity sloshing around in the market and these things are flagging under resistance, that thing is just waiting to get popped. And it just really you just got to be patient for it. But like time and time again, we will see this where things come back to their old all-time highs. Then you stop, you pause. Everyone kind of gives up. It's not going to break the highs. That's it. It's at range highs, going back to range lows, right? Like that'll like the bear market. And then you just bang, you just blow through these things. And then you get continuation. So like looking at this, and then now let's take a look at Andy.
I need more Louis onomatopoeias.
Right now, look, bang, all the way to range highs, back to the old all-time highs, rejected on the first time. Is that okay? Yeah, what's the percentage move here? Like a 3x, right? Like, what do you think? It's going to blast and continue to blast through the old all-time high after doing a 3x? No, money needs to exchange hands. People need to take profits, and new buyers need to step in. And that's why the flagging under resistance is bullish, right? You have people taking profits, but you get new buyers coming in after watching this thing pump. They buy it here, continues to consolidate, and then it pops and it goes on its next leg. That's just like how markets work, right? So something that we just saw with Brett consolidating under its old resistance, old all-time high, you got to pop. Andy's doing something very similar right now. So, you just got to use those context clues to kind of find out what's going to happen next. I would say Andy pops the old all-time high next, right?
It's going to happen when ETH finally breaks above that kind of normie diagonal trend line that it's been battling.
Yeah.
This one here. It's teasing.
Yeah, it's that diagonal that you got right there, Louis. Like that's going to send everything, man. Like the question of what are we waiting for all these memes, everything. It's literally that diagonal line and then that white box that you have above. That's it. You clear that level, death to bears. You clear that level. It's that simple. That's all. Like literally, this is the only two lines that you need on any chart right now is that white box and that diagonal line. That's the only set of TA that you need right there.
Yeah, I'll make it red. There you go. The bull market door.
We gotta mow over Hodor first. I'm sorry.
Hodor. Okay. Vitalik and his boys are just
bearish Hodor. No, but I mean, I think that at least the meme coin angle specifically correlated to things like ETH. I mean, when Jack has been saying it, when it breaks 4K, I think it's probably more like 3,800. But when you get to a certain point, you're just kind of like, nitpicking. It's like that whole region, that supply level that we were talking about from the previous ETF announcement, contextually significant as well as significant to where positioning came in. So, yeah, I mean, you flip that. Maybe TradFi gets more interested in ETH. I don't know that it needs to. I mean, we've been ranging for long enough that we probably have enough built up positioning that it's going to rip face, and then people are going to be chasing. And the hated part of the rally is going to come from the fact that it's not really going to give any pullbacks and will probably complete basically the entire cycle's move more or less in like 3 months.
And Tommy, I don't know if you have any knowledge of this. I'm guessing you have, at minimum, you can speculate, but it seems like long Bitcoin, short ETH has been the longest, most tedious, and profitable pair trade for like 3 years. And I feel like that's all going to unwind, like you said, very quickly. I don't know if you can confirm that like there's big funds out there that are just straight up suppressing the price, just putting on like the most. I mean, you shouldn't be able to have a free short for 3 years straight. That shit is not right. That should not be allowed, right? Are there some funds that are going to get taken behind the woodshed? You know,
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you talk about a trend that has persisted for, like you said, 3 or 4 years. The way that positioning, at least I mean, we know how TradFi positioning loves to work. Everybody piles into the exact same trade until eventually you get these huge snapback reversals, and so it ends up being, in this case, staircase down, elevator up. Usually, people use that phrase the opposite way, but I really feel like that's probably how it'll be. I don't know if funds are specifically, deep into ETH Bitcoin. Maybe they used ETH as a hedge against Bitcoin holdings so that they can remain delta neutral. I'm sure that there's some of that going on, but I think Sol ETH is probably more so that pair that liquid funds are trying to take advantage of here over the last few years. So maybe we get a situation when ETH starts going up, Sol is just completely flat. That's kind of hard for me to believe, but I could see a dynamic like that playing out. It's what happened when ETH pumped in the spring. You had Sol basically completely flat on the day, because what ends up happening is as the short leg of the trade starts to get smoked, you have to cover. And what that means is you have to start closing longs to the, whatever the pair is, or the other side of the pair is.
Yeah. I think you're about to see not quite an XRP style squeeze on ETH BTC, but you're going to see a Louis meat stick at a minimum. And it's going to be a big meat stick. Let's address this super chat here, guys. I think this is an interesting topic. Thank you for the $5, Victor. Very kind of you. So let's talk about a potential path for Bitcoin dominance. I think it's hard to argue that it's not top tier. That looks like a pretty toppy top to me, for lack of a better term. It looks like the stairs up, beginning of elevator down. You might get one little shoulder. Yeah, I like that, Louis. I could see that. Like if Bitcoin smashes through, I'm going to remove your comment just so we can see Louis' smiling face. I think that if we see Bitcoin meat stick to like 105, you'll probably see that shoulder happen on Bitcoin dominance. That's my hunch. You were asking about 40 down to 40% and then pop back up. If anything, I think you're probably going to see a bounce at like 48%, which is like the previous range high. Could you maybe draw out that line, Louis? Yeah, right there. I think you might see a big bounce around that level. And then you'll see Bitcoin, it'll probably be like a big mid-cycle correction. Like you'll see everything get nuked. Like it'll be a 25% drop on Bitcoin. It'll be like a 35-40% drop on a lot of altcoins. You'll see. No, I'm not thinking that high, Louis. I'm thinking like,
that's why I raced it. I was like, I drew that too high.
That's okay. That's okay. I would think Bitcoin dominance would bounce mid-cycle because we get a big mid-cycle correction like we always see, which is totally normal. And then from there, I would expect Bitcoin dominance to probably end the cycle, like textbook end the cycle, probably at like 40 to 44%, like retesting the range low. And again, I'm open to a lot of different scenarios, but that's kind of my gut feeling. And I'm probably going to be somewhat off on that. It's tough. I mean, what you ultimately need to figure out is it's less about where it goes and just more about like the direction it's going. So it's like whether it goes to 48% and that's the bottom of this cycle, or it goes to 32%, just recognize the signs of like, we're in a downtrend. That means I should be long altcoins, and be probably less concerned with like what level it hits, because nobody knows for sure. Like we can speculate and do TA on it, and I think we'll get pretty close. But right now I'm like, this looks like a break of trend to me. The first one we've had in 2 years. And maybe you get a little shoulder, or maybe you just start nuking. But I think it's time to be overwhelmingly positioned in altcoins, specifically like ETH and ETH beta, for a major ETH catch-up trade with a Bitcoin dominance collapse as a tailwind. And if we go to 48%, great. If we go to 38%, even better, right?
Yeah.
So it's less about like, and I always talk about this. Like I love to talk price, and I love to speculate on like price targets and use fibs. It's really fun to do, but it's nearly impossible to know exactly where something's going to go. You're much better off just like looking for signs of a reversal and then positioning for a new trend, rather than being like, oh, I'm only going to exit at this percentage for Bitcoin dominance, or I'm only going to take profits at this level. Just recognize like it's time to be long or it's time to be short, and then just wherever it takes you, it takes you. That's my own philosophy. I don't know if you would agree, Louis or Jackus or
No, I
Tommy.
totally agree. I always say that price targets it's fun to talk about them and have them, but if you're going to base your entire thesis off a specific price target, you will most likely end up round tripping, because if you never reach that profit target, you're never going to sell. And you round trip gains like a lot of people did last cycle. Everyone was 100K Bitcoin. That was the price target, and everyone got roped in, and no one sold.
They roped me in, Louis. Dude, they
got me.
When we got back above 64K, I was like, oh boys, it is time.
Yeah.
And then we started to, then we were down in the low 50s, and I was like, that wasn't supposed to happen. What the F, man?
Guys were filling my asks.
Yeah. Tommy dumped his Bitcoin on me. What's new, man?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Tommy the whale.
No, I didn't know the lore of Snorlax back then.
The
Now he's
20
on my team, so I get to see what he's doing, so it's fine.
I had such an insane run on AVAX Rush back in the day before that happened. That was like all the L1 trades were, oh my God, they were just complete layups. Because back then you could just, bridging over liquidity, you'd be first and you'd have huge opportunity because most people were too lazy to even bridge to new chains. I think about how different it is now. Like you can't front run anybody.
Now it's easy to bridge. Oh, Louis. Wait, Tommy, I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. Are you an AVAX bridge or?
No, not anymore.
Yeah, that was that was like 2022, right? Like early 2022.
That was 2021 or like September.
End of 2021.
September, October.
Yeah, I remember I tried to start bridging over to AVAX, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm probably too late," and I was. Thank God. Thank God I didn't actually invest anything.
Did you bridge over to places like Harmony One and Near Chain, Louis?
Harmony? Is that like isn't that like the Wi-Fi thing?
That was the DeFi Kingdoms chain. That was basically the only thing that you could do on there. I literally couldn't use the bridge. Thank God. It saved me from losing money.
Honestly, part of the reason why I didn't bridge to AVAX was because I couldn't figure it out. So that helped me being an idiot.
I remember I wanted to buy. Do you guys remember Locked Jewel back in like the end of 2021? Because like DeFi Kingdoms was mooning, and you could buy Locked Jewel because there was a 3 to 6 month lockup period. Obviously, no futures on jewels, but you could buy them at like an 80% discount. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, this is the easiest trade ever. There's no way it goes down 80%. And 6 months go by, I think they were down like 98%. So it's because like, I couldn't figure out how to bridge to Harmony One, I prevented that from happening to my bankroll. Thank God. But
you know what it is, man? We're gonna see a lot of opportunity quote unquote, like that in peak mania, which we're not in yet. I just want to issue this a little reminder for everybody. If it seems too good to be true, then it either is too good to be true or it has a very short dated expiration date. All right. It's usually not too good to be true, right? Eventually reality settles in. So you're going to see a lot of like crazy yield offerings and new Ponzi's that pop up. Have fun with them, but just know that they have an expiration date.
Hot potato.
Hot potato.
I'd love to see another own fourth this cycle. I feel like it's going to be really hard to get to convince people to do that again. But maybe we repackage it a different way and run back that narrative again. That was the single most reflexive narrative I can ever remember in crypto. It was where you are literally holding a token that's ripping multiples on multiples while yielding 4,000 to 5,000 or 4 to 5 figures in APY per year. Just absolutely unbelievable. I hope that we get crazy enough for that this cycle, but I think maybe people have wised up a bit.
Yeah, I hopped in something like that on Solana. I think it was like something like an owl or something. I don't remember what it was called, but thank God I only threw like $1,000 in it. But I was the exit liquidity on that one for sure.
I don't think something like that can work on Sol.
Well, it was something where it was returning like thousands of X's and like the token was also going up at the same time. And I watched it for so long and I was like, all right, like I got to get exposure to this, and then went to zero.
Oh, went to zero.
Oh.
I think people on Sol are just they're too willing to dump on each other for an own to be able to work on it.
Sol is G chain, bro.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that things won't pump. They pump hard when they go, but there is some merit in difficulty. Either like it's hard to do or it's expensive to do in selling bags. Like there's nothing more bullish than when ETH gas. I know everybody's like, oh, it's so expensive to swap. I'm like, I love that, man. That's protection. Or like Bitcoin puppets.
One thing,
it's terrible to swap that, man. Like you hold a Bitcoin puppet, you don't trade it. You're not in and out. You know, it's like 45 minutes to confirm. It's terrible. Bullish.
Mine took 2 hours.
Yeah, Bitcoin is terrible tech for that.
I'm going to be sweating that sale if it ever happens.
Yeah. One thing I've definitely noticed from the Trenches channel within BB Discord is that most people that join the Sol Trenches just reportedly said they lost money. Yeah. Versus ETH Trenches, well, some lost money too, but some made good money and some are at least like doing, more or less on the same. And that's my observation.
I think there's the stigma. There's the stigma in crypto where if you're not just like constantly doing something all the time, that you're doing something wrong or that you're failing. And I think the Trenches they kind of epitomize that, right? But they prey, like the Trenches prey on your constant need for a dopamine hit and your constant feeling like you're not doing enough. When in reality, when you're playing on things like pump.fun, your odds of hitting a trade or hitting a bet are worse than if you're trading leverage. And they'll, those same people who are trading meme coins, maybe they don't realize that those odds are not good because they feel forced into, trying to do as much as they possibly can. But I'm with you, Jack. I really don't know that many people that are profitable trading in the Trenches, and outside of people who I know are like explicitly insiders.
Yeah.
I'd say for every Trenches millionaire that's out there, there's 100 more people that got taken behind the shed, And that doesn't mean you shouldn't try, right? It just means like,
try reasonably,
risk, right? Manage your
risk. Try
risk.
reasonably. Do it with 10 to 20% of your portfolio. So if you get hurt, make it affordable.
Louis, can you look at the Jewel chart?
Jewel?
We're reminiscing a bit. This is why you don't marry bags, guys. We always say
it. Kingdom?
Yeah. Let's take a
it's
journey back
pumping.
in time.
It's pumping. I need a bigger chart, don't I?
You need to zoom out.
I gotta put log on, don't I?
Probably. Study.
Oh my god. This thing was at $20 and it's at 16 cents.
Yep. I remember
Jeez.
people were talking about it going to like 50 to $100. Anson
Here.
said it would be a top 5 coin in crypto by the end of 2022. The streets remember.
Good thing I had no idea.
Are you
when
the
it
street,
was.
Tommy?
I am the streets.
So
I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, you're gonna start to see some pretty crazy targets on everything. You're gonna see like the consensus once ETH is at like 8K, the consensus will be like 30K ETH, right? Don't just sell before that. Like, take the normie number and just cut it in half, and you'll be good.
yeah.
Because I remember last cycle, like ETH to 10K was written in the stars, and I wanted it too. Cut it in half, went to about 5K. You know, Bitcoin to 120 seemed to be kind of like a big number. Like, oh, we'll get to 100K this cycle. 120 to 150 went to about 70. Wait for the normie targets to come out. We don't have the normie targets yet. That's the thing. Like, people think that like 10K ETH is the normie target. The normie doesn't own ETH yet. They don't. Wait for the normie targets. Wait for like the crazy, like there's a threshold, right, where we are getting into like later stage right now, but we're not in late stage yet. Okay. Later stage is going to be like when all of you guys, for example, use yourself as a benchmark. When you guys are up so much, the condo boys, they might actually get condos.
Look at that.
When you guys here listening to
What
this
you have
show,
to do.
when you guys listening to this show are up like, 20x on your entire portfolio, and there's still people out there calling for like 5x higher on ETH and Bitcoin, it's just unrealistic. Like, just think to yourself, like, I'm not about to like 500x my entire net worth right now, holding majors and like the top meme coins. It's unrealistic, and we'll be here as a friendly reminder in the next like 4 or 5 months. We're not there yet, but just, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. And I think everybody's still a nice little farm pig. We're growing up, we're rolling in mud, eating our food. It's great, but just remember, like, when you're up 25x on your whole portfolio and the normie comes along and he starts telling you, hey, I saw this video on TikTok, Pepe's going to $1. Pepe's not going to $1. As much as I would like for it to go to $1, I would be a multi-deca billionaire. I'm not about to be a multi-deca billionaire from Pepe, unfortunately. I hope you're right, but you're not. Just be realistic.
Yeah.
Somebody's saying I called Ondo a VC scam. I absolutely did. It still is a VC scam, but VC scams are pumping right now. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
And
I also saw somebody mention FTM, how we're not mentioning it. We should talk about FTM. They're about to do what Polygon did, but they're about to do it into a market-wide bull run. So where Polygon rebranded into a brand new ticker, new chart, I'm sure it will pump and do well. FTM is doing it while majors or Bitcoin's in price discovery. And FTM's about to break, or I think it already has broken year-to-date highs.
Yep.
I think this is very quietly going to be an outperformer here over the next few weeks.
The chart looks really good, actually, Tommy.
Yeah.
Pains me to admit it, but it does.
Yeah.
I don't even know how do you even buy FTM, bro? I literally don't even know. I've never done it.
I was just buying it on mainnet and then bridging it over to Phantom through Squid, which is just like this multi-chain swap or bridge.
As a grown man, it's hard to say.
Sounds easy.
Imagine
describing
what you do every day for work.
Yeah. How was your Thanksgiving? Oh, it was good. How's our little investor doing? Good. I just bridged on Squid.
We trust the big names on Phantom to pump their bags, right? Andre has a history of being able to effectively pump his bags. Daniel Sesta has a history of being able to build some of the best Ponzi's in the crypto space. Wow, they're working together. I wonder what's going to happen to the price of FTM.
Well, speaking of pump, we gotta probably discuss TRX.
Oh God! Hold on, before we do that.
Someone able to do in that.
Before we
Justin.
do that,
wait.
Now we can talk about TRX.
No, wait. Now we can do it.
Tommy, what do you think about this, man? This is a
Oh
hedge
my
fund
God.
manager. He's got 12 billion in AUM right now, and he just
Oh my
commented-
goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Chimp phone professional hater.
Need a different chart.
Dude, that's the guy that dumped his puppets on me.
He
The
called
streets
top
don't
on
forget.
the hype token like 5 times this week. We love him.
Justin dumped on you or Chimp?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Study crime.
Honestly, holy cow. How would what does TRX BTC look like? I'm curious.
Straight up.
Very
bro.
good, and
Straight up.
I'll cope a little because I was gonna make the position just 2 days ago, and then I kind of forgot
Oh.
about it, and now I don't.
My God, that looks
But-
insane. That looks like some of those shitcoin charts that you look back on in a bull run, where they end up marking up like 20x out of, and you're like, well, that was so obvious. But obviously, it's a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It won't do that.
And this
but-
is TRX's 2021 all-time high.
That's crazy.
Right.
The interesting part is that TRX is trading on the BTC pair at levels it was in 2019. So technically, you just did basically the same holding TRX as you have holding BTC, which is an interesting perspective.
which is not surprising to me, given that so much of Tether supply is on TRX. You know, I'm sure there's some fun business going on.
Indeed.
I prefer not to speak.
Prefer not to speak. Jose, is that you?
Okay, Jackus, I got called on this over the weekend. Is it Jose or Jose Mourinho?
Well, I say Jose Mourinho. Everyone
That's
says
what I
Jose
said.
Mourinho. Who says Jose? Some Mexican guy.
We asked Alexa, the Amazon, like I don't even know what you'd call it, but the Amazon AI agent, we'll call it, and
Oh my God.
she said Jose, but I was like, I've always heard Jose. I know I'm not right, but I look like an idiot in front of my family, so I just had to I had to ask.
Well, everyone calls him Jose Mourinho in Europe. Everyone. So, but usually it goes like you definitely can read it as Jose, but it depends on which country you're coming from, right? And each country pronounces different, and usually people just go with the native pronunciation, which is Jose.
Got some strong opinions in the comments.
Who the fuck is Jose? Well, can I buy it on Uniswap?
Yeah, well, what's the contract?
Send me the address.
It's funny when you post an asset on chain that you're aping, people don't even bother like looking it up on Dex Screener before they ask you what the contract is. And I'm just like, can you not do a little bit of due diligence before you buy this? Near does look really good, by the way. I think Near is about to rip face. It's an AI coin now, I think, but I mean, you want to talk about VCs that are good at pumping their bags. Near is pretty good at that. But I think it'll outperform. It looks a lot like FTM, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Indeed, it looks like FTM just before it rips through the highs. Which begs me a question here. Do these coins that are from prior cycle, they are mid caps now, do they go to prior cycle all-time high, then top there, and that's the cycle top? Or is there like a multi-cycle price appreciation for them coming in? That's actually very important question to ask, because if so, then these coins could be multi-cycle ones where they constantly get appreciated over time. There's obviously big bear markets in the middle, but
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at yesterday when I was talking about the .com bubble and how the best projects, depending how this cycle goes, right? The best projects as crypto continues to evolve as an asset class, there will be tokens that I think will continue to catch a bid for the next, 10, 15 years, right? If crypto is going to survive as an asset class, it will have its major tokens that are winners. And if TRX is any clue, then it looks like that a lot of these will actually probably surpass their old all-time highs from either 2021. And that's kind of where like XRP, a lot of people are, it's back to its old all-time high. It's probably topped. Like, if it's going to do anything like TRX is doing, no, it's probably got a lot more to go. So
I think the scope of the cycle increases exponentially if these coins are all making all-time highs.
I just think it's like with what we are planning, right? And we are seeing everywhere, it's just too early for any of these to make a cycle top here. Which doesn't mean that there won't be like 1 or 2 months pauses for them, but there will be multiple swing legs higher, in my opinion. And then you kind of break the normie mentality, where they'll be like, all right, I didn't get it, but now I get it. It's the revolutionary tech. It's no longer a scam pump. I believe in the pump now, and that's the one.
And then we dump on them. It's just business, nothing personal. Do you think that this is going to chill out at all-time highs, Jack, as XRP, or do you think it's just going to rip straight through?
I think it's going to rip through, but I think it could pause here. It had a fairly decent run.
Yeah.
But kind of something like this. When I look at all these other pairs, whether it's charting against ETH or the dominant chart for XRP and so forth, it's not looking toppy to me right here. And again, with what we discussed, right? All of these charts are like, they are the first movers, and with what we expect for the whole space in terms of lengths, I just find it crazy that they would pump like here and make a cycle top. Because if that would be the case, then what does that mean for the rest, right?
XRP, BTC. Yeah, these Bitcoin charts, man, on Dino coins. What does Litecoin look like now that we're on the topic? Is there alpha?
Tron?
No, Litecoin.
Yeah, like that's one thing that I have a problem with. So people say, like, look at what HBAR and XRP and Stellar did. So is that coming for Litecoin? And I just do not think so. I think there is not enough crime in Litecoin, and second, there is not enough narratives for it. So while it does match with the Dino narrative, and it does match like factually wise, I just do not see it happening for LTC. As much as I kind of like it, if I'm being honest, back from the good old days. What's Charlie doing, by the way, these days?
Charlie? Like C3?
No, Charlie, the founder of Litecoin.
Oh, Charlie Lee. Yeah.
What did you hear?
He's probably somewhere just sitting on the beach.
Yeah.
After he sold the top.
I remember how active he was back then, and I remember the exact day he sold the top.
Right here.
He was the top.
The trust was broken. Down only since then against
Yeah, I think
BTC.
my coin is overvalued. I'll sell a little bit. I can't even fault the reasoning. What are some other dinos? IOTA, I think, was pumping. Not that I have any familiarity with that coin. Man, that's
BNB
fine
next.
too.
BNB to 1,000.
I mean, this just looks like Bitcoin did it.
Yeah.
You know, like 20K, 20, 30K ago.
This has a meat stick loading.
Fear the meat stick.
Beware of the meat stick. It's coming for you.
BNB does look pretty solid. I just don't know. Okay, so like if we're gonna look at something like FTM versus BNB, just given raw market cap, just left curving the potential appreciation, I just don't know if it makes sense to speculate on something as established as BNB, even if it's a soft toss to like 1,500, as maybe something like FTM. But I don't know how you guys feel.
I think it's something that you can maybe trade on leverage, but it's like you said, you're going to get better beta out of coins that are directly correlated to it. I'm assuming FTM BNB looks bullish, but that's just a hunch. BNB doesn't look the best on some of its pairs, but I don't think that that's inherently I don't think that's bearish on BNB. I just think it's bullish on other coins. But we talked about, when BNB enters price discovery, or rather is trending aggressively to the upside, that's when you see the most movement out of these VC scams, because BNB is such a popular collateral coin on Binance that people will leverage along other assets with BNB. And on chain, if BSC ever heats up again, they will collateralize a lot of DeFi loans with BNB and probably buy more shitcoins. That's just how it goes. Is Richard Tang, will he do the needful? Is the question. Will he do what CZ did in previous cycles?
Guys, did we touch upon the super chats today?
Which one did we miss?
I didn't, just asking like if we have or not.
I thought we had. I think we have maybe 3 that we could touch on really briefly, and then it probably is a good spot to wrap up the show. First one. Oh no, is my internet
Wolf to
rugging?
10 bill. I don't know about that. Maybe
I'll leave this
1
question to Matt.
Yeah, he's a specialist.
Yeah,
I think it's possible.
here we go.
I mean, you're gonna need Pepe to go.
The need to
over 100.
continue. The need to continue, Max. It's possible. Good.
Conditionally possible. I think if you see ETH at 15K, then yes. But you need that.
Then we have a bit more of a short dated super chat, specifically pertaining to Pepe.
End of December. I'll just say higher than here, but I don't. It's nuanced, right? Ask me like March or April or something like that.
Maybe up here. Maybe
I do think it's waiting on ETH. Like if you think ETH is going in December, Pepe is not going to be just sitting around.
Yeah, maybe somewhere up here. Maybe a double higher from here on the 2618 by end of December. That's definitely doable.
And then lastly, we have this super chat from Victor.
I don't think it would hurt them. Why would it hurt them?
I think he means that they haven't had Brett on Coinbase just yet. I'm assuming that's what he meant. Which, I mean, I kind of view it as inevitable that Brett ends up on Coinbase. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's some OTCL deal going on with some of the Brett devs and Coinbase actively, but I'm not sure. I just kind of always viewed it as inevitable that we see more base chain coins on Coinbase, but maybe they're waiting for that network activity to heat up a little bit more before that happens.
Yeah. They time things very specifically when they do stuff like that. Similarly to what they did with listing Pepe, So, but the way they're listing coins, I mean, they're going to continue to list meme coins. So I would definitely see Brett being one of them as like that's their base chain baby right now. So I could definitely see it happening for sure.
You know what I think these meme coins on Coinbase are missing? For one of them to just go completely parabolic. And then everybody's going to come in and want to bid meme coins. I mean, look, normies go where the returns are. When they open Coinbase, what's up the highest percentage? Well, for the last week and a half, it's all been dinos. It's been a lot of coins that people thought were previously undesirable, but were floored structurally, so they had more relative upside than a lot of these meme coins. And I think as that inefficiency gets closed, meme coins are going to start to look a lot more and more attractive for one reason, probably above any other, which is unit cost. Normies are going to buy the cheapest coins on Coinbase. I think Pepe or Bonk is probably the cheapest coin on Coinbase, but Mog might be the cheapest now because I think it has what, like 6 zeros? What if it hits $1?
Yeah, that's the old question.
All right, we got one more super chat, guys. And I think that's a good spot. Pepe Unchained Layer 2 in 9 days. What are your thoughts? Will that start cooking things off? What do you mean by that?
Like, are they adding layers to Pepe now? Is that?
I'll be honest, I have no idea what that means.
I have no idea.
I'm assuming it means that somebody thinks Pepe is getting a Layer 1 or a Layer 2, but I have not seen anything about that.
Yeah, sorry, I have no idea what that means. Could you expand on that? Like, what is that exactly?
Mog is the cheapest one. Nice. Well, I would say that's a pretty big tailwind for Mog, potentially. Why buy a $1 meme coin when you can buy a $0 meme coin? Yeah, basically. Pepe Layer 2 Unchained, bruh. I don't know what that means. It's a scam, Pepe. Okay, never mind. All right, guys. I think that's a good spot to be wrapping up the show. Just a few minor things, of course, before we officially wrap up. Give me 1 second here. 1 second, guys. You're going to get to hear me speak a little bit more before I send you on your merry way. Should have this. All right. There we go. All right, guys. Few offerings before we leave you today. We were nice enough to package your go-to tool for the cycle. That is the BB Terminal, guys. That is a best-in-class product that we continue to make, like I said, the best possible product that money can buy. And of course, will be your go-to, whether or not you are an active trader on the lower time frames, trading perps, derivatives, open interest, all of that great stuff like me. Or maybe you hate that kind of stuff and you look for something more like DCA calculators as an investor, right? We have tools that enable you to be able to make educated high time frame investment decisions as well if you are a spot investor. And of course, we will soon have an active degen page as well that will replace many of the things that you've been using to trade on chain, to trade these meme coins, I promise it's going to be fantastic, right? So we do have a little bit of something for everyone. Make sure to check out the BB terminal, guys. Cannot guarantee that prices will not go higher, of course, as the market does. And we were nice enough to package your go-to tool for the cycle with our Discord. That's right. You can get access to all of our alpha as a group, all of our positions, and of course, everything in the market as we see it, our intimate thoughts, 3 to 4 hours of daily calls. I mean, it really has everything, including a pretty kick-ass community as well that you can conquer this cycle with as well. So like I said, we package these things together for you at discounted rates. I highly recommend that you take advantage of these things at these prices, because there's a very good chance, of course, that they go up as prices in the crypto market do. Yeah, so we have more information linked in the description below. Find them on our becausebitcoin.com website. Of course, guys, we also have the Because Bitcoin Academy. We sorry, I had a bit of a I had this I'm having like iced coffee for the first time in like a week and a half, and it's a lot of caffeine for my system, I'm learning. So
you gotta stim up, Tommy.
I know.
You gotta stim up.
I should have been stimming up on vacation, but yeah, no, the BB Academy, guys. I mean, if you're looking for a way to hone your educational base or to reach trading level mastery, the BB Academy is the best way to do that. I mean, you can learn from 5 or 6, even 7 different traders who have absolutely crushed these markets for over a calendar year in a lot of different ways, right? There's no one size fits all in crypto. You can be trading meme coins in the trenches. You can be hitting large cap rotations. And of course, everything that falls in between that, guys, you can pick up alpha, not just from being in our group and in our Discord, but also from BB Academy. And you're really going to want to hone your educational base or reach trading level mastery before this market takes off, even more than it already has, right? I mean, people don't want to spend on education when the market's going straight up, but the information that you can gather is incredibly useful. And for that reason, I would definitely recommend it. But let's be honest, there is no bad time for education. Of course, if none or all of those products interested you, we also have BB Wealth Management, guys, which is our SEC registered hedge fund. If you are interested in having the team manage money for you, maybe you haven't hit these rotations quite as cleanly. Maybe you're disappointed in underperforming or worried about underperformance here over the next few months. Well, fortunately, we have an option available for you as well to be able to park money with us as a team. Like I said, we are an SEC registered fund, and we look to trade digital assets in a way that captures upside. Their asymmetric history for upside. I mean, look at things like XRP, right? Well, BB Wealth Management, shout out to Jackus and Louis as well for catching that pump. But that's it from us, guys. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Market Check will be back for another episode tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And a reminder, that is our typical start date, Monday through Friday, whenever the New York Stock Exchange is open. And of course, make sure to not forget about King Wabi's show, Market Talk, that is hosted through our Because Bitcoin Twitter account, and that is live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So make sure to stay following and subscribed, not just to Wabi, but also to our Because Bitcoin account, so you can be notified not just when we schedule those spaces, but also when we go live. But that is it from us today, guys. We hope that you enjoyed the show. If this is your first day back after last week, we hope that you had a great Thanksgiving week with friends and family. We are excited for the month of December. I think asset prices are looking very primed, given many of the things that we discussed today. But until tomorrow, guys, thank you again, as always, and stay safe.